So we've gone through quite a lot of our basic strikes. What have we done? We've done the equivalent of a jab, the cross, this way, we've done them low, we've done them high. And there's two more in our basic technique skill set that we need to learn. And the idea isn't to trap us in, like, you know, actual techniques. They're just kind of ideal types that it's just, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Okay, you could proceed by intuition to get here, but eventually you will get here to exactly these techniques. So it's just useful if someone someone can just show you and you don't have to reinvent the wheel. So our next technique that we need is this, where we hit straight down, and it's a little bit of an unusual. It's unusual in a couple of ways. So it's another one of those. It's a bit like, you know, in French you have regular, you know, regular verbs and irregular verbs. So it's a bit of an irregular verb. Firstly, in the postures like this, you twist the hand up this way now. So it's not just push down like that. I mean, you can do that, it's a different technique. But lift up. So you see my hand is lifting up, and this is where you get the screwing force. And you, like curl up and then roll out this way. You've got to make sure you grab it as it rolls out, otherwise it's a ping risk. And it's also a little bit different in the routing, and the routing isn't like you can bring your front foot up with it, but that's usually too slow. So usually it's what we call drop routing. So the quad or the waist just drops this way, like straight down like that. And even if it's like kind of more of a flat this way, the only thing we keep is it's equivalent to a jab type movement, and we know that because when we do it, the body twists back like that. You can sometimes lift up off the floor. It's not a rule that you can't lift your foot up like that. But usually it's just a little bit too slow. So we use this. All your weight drops, and you twist into it like that. And a little bit of it comes from this as well. And that's the way you hit. And again, you can do this. People like to do it because it's supposed to show it off, but the way that you can hold it so at the end of the stick wobbles. Or you can just do it faster and back into it. It wobbles in it. And again, you want it both ways. But to begin with, just like our other staff techniques, we begin slow. I feel like I want to lift my foot up when I do it slow. Maybe I do. Yes, I think I do it a little bit actually when I do it. Just seems to come up a little bit. The main thing we want is this drop. So adding in our when we do it from the hit down into the kind of jab equivalent, then we've got to use a more sophisticated version of quarter routing, in which the front foot doesn't come up on the first one, so it's a little bit unusual. Usually in quarter routing the heel is up and then we just strike again. In this case, one, it's just that the body is already back like a jab, like it would be for a jab. If you want to jab again, you lift like that. It's just a little bit different. So this time, mid. Slightly different step, I don't think I've done that one before. It's a little bit shallow. Nothing wrong with that. So from guard down to the mid. It's the same step but moving back a little bit more with the target. So all the time, got to bring it back into this wrist curl position and then unfold, uncurl, curl and uncurl. So as well as doing it this way, of course you can do it this way. It's a little bit more of an odd move. Don't necessarily usually do it that way. It's a little bit of an odd move because just the way the stick is in relation to rubbing against the leg just makes it feel a little bit like that's getting in the way, but you can do it that way. You can do all the same techniques doing it that way as well. Just takes a little bit more sophisticated quarter routing to do. See what I'm doing with the leg with the quarter routing. Doesn't feel like a natural movement to me, but you can do it that way. However, odd as it is, you need it for this oblique step where you change this way. So you have to be able to do it, but it becomes a little bit easier on an angle like this because the stick isn't just kind of the thigh isn't getting in the way in the same way. Wrong way. Nevertheless, you have to be really careful not to force the stick right down into your own hip, which is easily done.